Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Kevin Damiani's Historic Tours. I'm located at the South County Museum. Let me turn the screen around. South County Museum in southern Rhode Island. It's right across near Narragansett Beach. At this unique museum, let me try to zoom in a little. This unique museum is a lot of historic items to see. The history of this museum is incredible. It was built on top of the land of the Governor Sprague Mansion. Governor Sprague Mansion is behind this area. This is the stable where Governor Sprague had his horses kept. He grew. They had maintained a unique breed of horses only known in Rhode Island. Those breed of horses were kept in this stable. Tragically, in 1970, the stable caught fire and those horses had passed away. The mansion used to be located near where this current big modern mansion is located. Except Governor Sprague's mansion was actually much, much bigger. Governor Sprague had 72 rooms. There was 42 rooms. Let me double check on that. But either way, Governor Sprague, if you went to visit him and you had a favorite color, say the color was blue, and he didn't have a bedroom that was painted blue, he would paint the room blue for you before your arrival. So Governor Sprague used to live in this area here. On the other side, there's a red barn house. The red house is dated from the 1600s, 1700s. On this premise, there's a very old cemetery. You can't see it from here. The cemetery dates back to the 1600s before Rhode Island became independent with the rest of America. There are some bones from a right whale that were kept here. And this is a famous Mets building. But I'm going to go back to talk about the stable one more time. There is some history behind the stable. I'll let you lead the plaque that talks a little bit about the stable. Sprague's stable, Concord Farm Stable, was built in 1900, and there's a little brief history of that. You can read that on your own later. Actually, I'll read it with you. Ex-Governor William Sprague built the Connoxet Stables in 1900. Constructed of Narragansett stone and granite, the building was originally 2 stories with a carriage room and quarters for 12 horses, including 2 box stalls on the ground floor. On the second floor are rooms of the conscript men and footmen, as well as the harness room and a room for hay and grain. Following Sprague's death in 1915, the stable was used by horse breeders and riding schools in the mid-20th century. The stable was burnt down in 1968. My apologies, 1968, not 1970, when that had burnt down. There's a unique history behind the South County Museum. While the museum building is not that old, the artifacts inside of this building are extremely old. Back in the 1800s, they had a very unique way of memorializing those who passed away. Family members would take the hair from the person who passed away and make artwork with it as a memorial to those who passed away. This museum has some of those artifacts, some of those hairs, some people who passed away that were placed into very unique and decorative ornaments. It was meant to show respect back then, and that is how we try to treat those very unique, very personal artifacts. There's more history in the South County Museum. If you ever go visit this museum any time of the year, especially if you're alone, or it happens more often when there are 2 or more people at the same time, you'll hear it sounds like footsteps. I would guess that those footsteps are probably worn by a woman, is my guess, who in my opinion weighs between 110 and 115 pounds. The footsteps, you will hear them in the middle of the wooden floor. The footsteps sound will disappear only when 1 or 2 people look to see who came to visit. It happens a few times where I worked at the South County Museum, especially when my boss was in the same building when we were doing work inside. There's another unique story I would like to share. On a windy day, the main doors were kept locked and shut with a board behind the doors, just like you see in old castles, a big board behind a brace to keep the doors closed. Well, that happened, the doors were closed in the front main building. You enter to the side door, which is more easily accessible, just a simple lock to get in with a key. As you're walking around working inside the building, all of a sudden we heard the doors push open. The large board was picked up and put on the side of the wall, and both doors were wide open. The only explanation I could possibly think of is that a spirit had wanted to open the doors. The doors were locked, the front doors were locked, the brace was put in place, and no one else was in the building. No one else was able to open that door while we're in the building. No one else was seen. The museum was closed that day. No one else was around. So these things do happen from time to time in this unique building. If you want to experience it yourself, come down to South County Museum in Narragansett, Rhode Island. I hope you enjoy this brief tour. Enjoy the rest of this blessed Sunday. I'll be going to church in a little while. I'm going to put on some church clothes. And I like to go to St. Francis of Assisi in Wakefield. Hope you all have a blessed day, and God bless.